welcome to The Ellen Show. Tonight we have a very special guest coming back from the dead, William Shakespeare.
Thank you. It's an honor. It's a real honor to be here. One thing though is that the Google Maps did not do the best job getting me here. It seems like it's not the best navigating from the afterlife to the Ellen Show.
I bet it is not. But we're so honored to have you here. Let's start off with just a little information about your life.
Okay.
Tell us about your early years.
Well, I was born on the 23rd of April in the year 1564. Long time ago, I know. So that means I'm approximately 455 years young. My father, his name was John, was a leather worker, and he specialized in white leather that was used for making gloves and other items like that. And he was married to a woman, my mom, whose name was Mary Arden, and she was part of a very prominent family at this time, the Arden family. And also I attended Stratford's grammar school until I was 15 years old.
Wow, that's very interesting, William. Let's talk about some of your accomplishments as a playwright.
All right. Well, I like to credit myself with the status of the English language, and I think that literature would not be the same as it is today without my great number of influences that I had on it. And also my vast number of highly acclaimed works contribute to these developments as well in the English dialogue. And if I do say so myself, I would say I'm pretty well known around the world.
Without a doubt, you are for sure. I think it's time for a little game called Name That Play. I'm going to present Shakespeare with a couple quotes from some of his famous plays, and the first audience member to buzz in with the correct name of the play gets your own signed copy of Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet.
Do it.
All right, Shakespeare, here you go.
Okay, the first quote. Oh, one of my favorites, actually. Doubt thou the stars are fire. Doubt that the sun doth move. Doubt truth to be a liar, but never doubt I love.
Yep, in the back.
I love you so much, Ellen. The answer is Hamlet.
Yes! Woohoo!
That play was actually one of my most famous tragedies about Prince Hamlet, and he seeked revenge on his uncle Claudius because his uncle actually murdered Hamlet's father.
Wow, thank you, Shakespeare. Let's go with one final quote.
All right, the last one we got here. All right. These violent delights have violent ends, and in their triumph die like fire and powder, which as they kiss, consume.
Oh, we got one click right in the front.
I can't believe it's really you, Shakespeare. Of course the answer is Romeo and Juliet.
Right on. That is Romeo and Juliet, which is the theme of tonight's show. That is why each and every one of you in the audience is going home with your own personal signed copy by yours truly. I know, guys. It's great. Relax. Let's see what happens in the play in the short video.
Romeo and Juliet, an age-old vendetta set in the Italian province of Verona, about two powerful families who expel into bloodshed. A group of masked Montagues risk further conflict by crashing a Capulet party. A young, lovesick Romeo Montague falls instantly in love with Juliet Capulet, who is arranged to marry her father's choice, the County Paris. The party concludes and Romeo sneaks into the garden to watch Juliet on her balcony. This is one of the most famous scenes of the play, when the two mutually confess their love to one another. Romeo plans to arrange a marriage with Juliet with the help of Juliet's nurse. Friar Lawrence, a monk who lives in Verona, is in on the plan and marries them immediately. When Romeo is challenged to fight Juliet's cousin, Tybalt, he refuses. Mercutio, Romeo's friend, is disgusted by his cowardness and takes the challenge instead. When Tybalt is able to advance on Mercutio and kill him, Romeo is enraged and kills Tybalt. The prince then arrives and banishes Romeo instead of executing him. Romeo and Juliet spend their wedding night together, but are immediately parted as Romeo must leave for banishment. Juliet's father believes that Juliet's sorrows are due to the death of her cousin, so he offers that she marry Paris immediately. When Juliet requests that the wedding be postponed, her father threatens to disown her. Juliet immediately heads to the friar for advice and threatens her own suicide. He instead suggests that she take a potion that will make her appear to be dead. He will then inform Romeo to secretly appear when she wakes after her body is taken to the family crypt. Instead of this plan, first the nurse discovers Juliet's body when she goes to wake her up for marriage with Paris. Friar Lawrence shows up to help the family grieve and to order Juliet's burial immediately. Balthasar, Romeo's brother, finds Romeo sooner than the friar's messenger and tells him that Juliet is dead. Romeo leaves for Verona with poisonous potion and plans to die alongside his love.
All right, everyone, now that we know the ins and outs of the play, do we want to know how it ends? Well, William and I acted out a small portion of the closing scene just for you all. This part comes from Act 5, Scene 3. Paris is visiting Juliet's grave with flowers, but is disturbed when Romeo is trying to break into the crypt. Paris hides, but when Romeo opens the tomb, Paris charges. Here it is. This is that bashed haughty Montague that murdered my cousin's love, with which grief is supposed to be fair creature died, and her is to come to do some villanious shame to the dead bodies. I will apprehend him. Stop thy howl toil, vile Montague. Can vengeance be pursued further than death? Condemned villain, I do apprehend thee. Obey and go with me, for thou must die.
I must indeed, and therefore came I hither. Good gentle youth, tempt not a desperate man. Fly hence and leave me. Think upon these gone. Let them I fight thee, I beseech thee. Youth, put not another sin upon my head by urging me to fury. Oh, begone! By heaven, I love thee better than myself, for I come hither armed against myself. Stay not, begone. Live, and hereafter, say a madam's mercy, bid thee run away.
I do defy thy conjuration and apprehend thee for a felon here.
Wilt thou provoke me? Then have at thee, boy. Oh, Lord, they fight. I will go call the whale watch.
I am slain. If thou be merciful, open the tomb, lay with me, Juliet.
In faith, I will. Let me pursue this face. Mercutio's kinsman, noble County Paris, what said my man when he bestowed my soul, did not attend him as we rode? I think he told me Paris should have married Juliet. Said he not so? Or did I dream it so? Or am I hearing mad, hearing him talk of Juliet? To think it was so? Oh, give me thy hand. I'm one writ with me in our misfortunes book. I'll bury thee in a triumphant grave. A grave? Oh no, a latenter, slaughtered youth. For here lies Juliet, and her beauty makes this vault a feasting presence full of light. Death lie thou here, by a dead man intend. How oft, when men are at the point of death, have they been merry, which their keepers call lightning before death. Oh, how may I call this a lightning? Oh, my love, my wife, death, that hath sucked the honey out of thy breath, hath had no power yet upon thy beauty. Thou art not conquered. Beauty's ensign yet is crimson in thy lips and in thy cheeks, and death's pale flag is not advanced there. Tybalt liest thou there in thy bloody sheet? Oh, what more favor can I do thee, than with that hand cut thy youth in twain, to sunder his that was thine enemy? Forgive me, cousin. Ah, dear Juliet, why art yet thou so far? Shall I believe that unsustainable death is amorous, and that the lean abhorred monsters keep thee in here dark, to be his paramour? For fear of that I still will stay with thee, and never from this place of dim night depart again. Here will I remain with worms that are thy chambermaids. Oh, here I will set up my everlasting rest, and shake the yoke of inauspicious stars from this world-wearied flesh. Eyes, look your last. Arms, take your last embrace. And lips, oh you, the doors of breath, seal with a righteous kiss, a dateless bargain to engrossing death. Come bitter, conduct come, unsavory guide. Thou desperate pilot, now at once run on, the dashing rocks, thy seasick weary bark. Here's to my love. O truth apothecary, thy drugs are kick. Thus with a kiss, I die.
I know, I should be on my But for real, Shakespeare, how does this play end?
Well, Ellen, after Romeo takes the poison that leads to his death, the friar comes to the crypt as part of the plan for when Juliet wakes, and he finds Paris's body and then reaches Juliet as she is coming back from her rest. And then Friar Lawrence does everything he can to persuade Juliet to leave, but it's not enough, and she really wants to be with Romeo. And out of fear, the friar eventually does leave himself, and Juliet is distraught over her dead lover, so she decides to take Romeo's own knife and plunge it into herself. After this, and the death of Juliet, the Capulets and Montagues may be at peace, but a high price has been paid, which is the lives of the two innocent star-crossed lovers.
Wow, what a tragedy. Say, does anyone in the audience want to tell me why this scene is so important? Yes, right there, go ahead.
This scene reveals the loyalty between both Romeo and Juliet. When Romeo realizes the death of his lover, he feels an overwhelming sense of agony. He does not want to live in a world without Juliet. As soon as Juliet awakes to a dead Romeo, she immediately feels the same agony. She wanted Romeo, and the only way these two would be together is through death, so that is what they choose. At last, they can truly be free. The final scene illustrates a major theme in the work: individual versus society. Juliet is constantly battling with what her family and society want versus what she wants and desires. Ultimately, the two went as far as death, but ended up together.
Very well said. See,
Nice.
yeah, critics still criticize this work today. Many say that Shakespeare succeeds in having a very good thematic structure to this play. Some of your themes include romance versus revenge, love against hate, day against night, sex against war, youth against age, and what else? I think tears against fire is another good one. A lot of movies have been made that allude to this play. Romeo and Juliet is performed, read, and dissected worldwide. Would anyone in the audience like to share their personal opinion? Yeah, go ahead.
Personally, this is my favorite Shakespearean play. This is a true foundation of romance within literature. The themes in this work captivated me, and every scene was unpredictable.
Yes, that is a great way to look at it. Thanks for sharing. As for you guys, that wraps up tonight's show. A huge thank you to our very special guest tonight,
Thank you.
William Shakespeare. We wish you all in Google Maps the best of luck finding your way back. Good night, everyone.